Hi guys, Burning Red here from nAvTV. Most of you guys know me from casting CSGO competitions like the DGL, ESL, ESEA and so forth. But this afternoon I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm actually going to be doing a quick gamer's perspective review on the Gigabyte P35 gaming notebook and the Gigabyte Aivia M8600v2 mouse, gaming mouse. So I'm going to quickly switch us through to the camera angle. If you just have a look now, in front of me I've got the contents that we're going to be covering. The P35 notebook, which in my opinion I've played around with it for the last couple of minutes, and I am very impressed with the notebook thus far. But then on the right hand side we've also got the mouse, which I've just unboxed. I'll be going through the contents quickly with you in the next few moments, and then I'm going to be doing an in-game test of Counter-Strike Go, and I'm going to see how well this combination actually works. So firstly, we've got the Aivia 8600v2 mouse from Gigabyte, the gaming mouse. Very nice mouse, as you can see. Very sleek shape. It's not too overpowering. It's an ambidextrous mouse. It's wireless in actual fact, and wired, which we'll get to shortly. And then, as you can see on the bottom, it is a laser mouse. It's not a optical mouse. Now, my opinion with regards to a game like Counter-Strike Go is that the optical mice or mouses, they generally dominate the industry there. But let's wait and see, because I would like to find out if this mouse actually does kind of go the distance and, you know, produce the results. But for now, just quickly going through the mouse and the setup. It's quite nice. You get the mouse itself in a nice quite a sturdy case, which you can, you know, pack in your bag and travel along with you, so it doesn't get damaged. As you can see, foam on the top, on the bottom, with the foam piece actually protecting it. So it's a nice case to keep your mouse safe when traveling. And then obviously the contents that has been provided in this black box is the bag for the cabling. For instance, you got your USB dock here. So if I give you an indication how this actually works, I've actually got an attached battery to it. Because the mouse is a wireless mouse, it comes with two actual battery packs. So we'll quickly have a look at that now. The USB dock is quite nice. It's a slanted one, so it's quite easy for your mouse just to clip on and charge whilst you wait. If you away from your machine for a long period of time, you can charge it quite comfortably with no issues, and it sits pretty nicely on the desk. But now just quickly back to the mouse, we see here that we've got a battery pack already installed, and to swap out literally takes a few seconds. There's a button on the bottom. If you just click and it comes out, as you can see, it slides out pretty quick. But then there's a second one. If that one runs out, you can just slot in the next one quickly and you're on your way. So very quick time if you want to just keep to the wireless side of things. Otherwise, Gigabyte provides you with two cables, two standard USB to mini USB cables, as you can see. And I'll just plug the other one in here, which is quite nice. You don't necessarily need the battery then. Let me just untangle it here quickly. And I'll just quickly, it's quite a long cable as well, so you can reach around all over the place with it. It's probably about 2 meters in length by the looks of it, or 1.5. As you can see on the front here, there's a little like kind of flap that opens up, and you just stick it in, and there we go. Now you have got a wired mouse. And the funny thing that I picked up playing with this a few moments ago is that both functions, the response time is pretty much spot on. So there's no delay really much with the wireless side of things, but it's a very slight delay. You can't really see it. You have to really know your mice or your mouses very well to actually notice something like that. But regardless of the fact, it caters for both wired players that prefer to play with the wireless. Prefer to play with the wired, and then obviously the wireless dock functionality, playing with just with the wireless keyboard. But anyway, that's enough about the mouse. I've installed the drivers. We're going to be testing that in CSGO. Let's get to the notebook now, the P35 gaming notebook from Gigabyte. It has an i7 processor in it, I think the 4600 i7 processor. It's got a GTX 765 graphics card in it as well, and there's a lot of cool functionality with this notebook. For instance, as you can see, I'm using all the USB ports here, 2 on this side, 2 on this side, one for the camera that's showing at the moment, and the other one then for the broadcasting mic, just a little bit below there, so excuse for the sound there. But in any case, just showing you guys the functionality of this notebook is pretty cool. So now, before we get into the game, another cool thing about the Gigabyte this laptop, or this notebook in particular, is the actual size, the thickness of it. It's a 15.6 inch LED screen, or LCD screen. I think it's LED, sorry, I do apologize for that. But then otherwise, if you're looking at it, it's so thin. It's not like your conventional or your standard gaming notebooks that are these thick notebooks that you have to, like, you know, kind of lunge around with you because it's so heavy. This is a very thin notebook, and using this notebook in the corporate environments or at the workplace, etc., is completely acceptable. It looks like a standard notebook. It doesn't look too flashy. It's an ultrabook, really, and it kind of fits into every environment, which makes it such a great notebook. If you look at it, you know, just from the view, you can see it's kind of the standard layout. It's got a nice keypad here on the right hand side for you guys that like to work with your numbers, and then the standard touchpad as well, that's slightly to the left, not too interfering with your hands, so you are still able to game with no issue. But then just going forward, I mean, I think it's time that I should just quickly open up the CSGO game and get things rolling there. So otherwise, just my general perception on this notebook has been pretty cool. Looking, well, playing with it for a little bit now. I'm just going to quickly start up the notebook. I think I've got 1 or 2 applications that are just sitting in the background. So this is a Windows 8 notebook as well, just to let you guys know. And the Windows 8 operating system, I'm still trying to adjust to quite, how do I say, I'm taking my time to try and adjust to the game. Anyway, I'm loading up Counter-Strike Go. Counter-Strike Go, or Counter-Strike Geo, Global Offensive, is actually a very resource-intensive game. It does take quite a lot of processing powers and graphics card power to actually produce some decent results. And a lot of top-end Counter-Strike players generally have the issue of frames per second. You want to get the best frames per second playing this game. So for now, I'm just going to quickly just go into one of these servers and just play around a little bit and just have I'm going to have a general perception on the notebook to see if it actually does do the performance, or does have the performance as your desktop PCs. There's a lot of negativity, I do believe, with notebooks in general. A lot of people buy the notebook and they say, no, it's not for games, you can never use it for games, etc. But I think this one in particular is one of those notebooks that really produces some fine results. Bearing in mind, having a look at the game, having a look at the laptop, and seeing the design of it, it is so friendly to use in any environment.
Fire in the hole.
So now that I've loaded it, just looking at the graphics and how it's running, I'm playing on full graphics, and I've got an FPS of about 120, 100 and 120. Now, for some standard 60 Hz,
throwing a flashbang.
Good. To reduce the game sound here.
I'm throwing a grenade.
Just take it off for now. So just as I speak about this notebook, looking at this notebook at the moment, I mean, you can see the graphics is running smooth. There's no issues. I don't see anything wrong with it. And this is kind of something I do enjoy from playing on a machine. I don't like to sit around. I don't think anyone really likes to sit around and see, you know, frame drops, etc. Playing at a competitive level, which I did in the past. So I've gone around and played on a lot of machines, a lot of notebooks, etc. And I've noticed that the Gigabyte notebook actually does really perform very well. Just waiting now, just to kind of for the round to start, so I can get a feel on the mouse here. This is the Aivia M8600v2 gaming mouse. Now, a lot of people have the perception that because it's wireless, it's not really a gaming mouse. You know, it's delayed. You know, that everyone has their opinions on it, but I'm here to kind of put the critics at rest, or kind of to prove the critics incorrect, the people that don't believe that wireless mice cut it for online gaming. So I'm in wired mode at the moment, so I'm going to try it out and just give my quick overall perception. What's quite nice, looking at it here, you've got the macro functionality of 2 buttons on the left, 2 buttons on the right, so it's perfectly fine for MOBA games as well. You've got some buttons on the top you can actually change in the software as well. So going forward now, just having a look and seeing how everything kind of runs quite smoothly. It looks very smooth. I mean, I'm not really picking up any issues, although I'm getting shot dead. It is it feels smooth. The reaction time is pretty quick. It's on the ball. Now, with the battery pack in it, it does seem to be quite a heavy mouse. However, this mouse has got the functionality of turning itself into a light one, because you're plugged in already and using the cable mode only, you can actually just clip out the mouse battery, and then with the battery here, because you've got 2, they give you the functionality to say, okay, fine, you can use that for wireless, but then you can unscrew the battery here from this clip it back into the mouse, and you've got yourself a standard wired mouse that is very light to use. You don't have much of an issue. So I'm going to try the light functionality now, although I'm not putting the clip back on. Just basically trying to see how quickly it responds and so forth before we move on to the wireless side of things. But then again, I'm going to go quickly back to the notebook. At this moment, I'm pretty impressed. I don't see any sort of issues with regards to graphics problems. The notebook runs an i7 processor. It's got a GTX 765 as well. It's really responsive, and that is what you kind of look for if you choose to buy a machine. And as you can see, I'm taking a couple of headshots and getting spammed through there. I'm just quickly testing out this notebook. Oh, getting taken out from the side. But anyway, so the notebook is not lagging at all, which is great from a gamer's perspective here. A lot of people would do reviews on paper, and they would say because of the specifications and so forth, you know, it scores X amount in 3D Mark, or X amount in this benchmarking program. But very few and far between you get actually people sitting down playing a game and giving their perception on it. Now that's where it really counts from a gamer side of view. I mean, if I'm a gamer, I would like to see how someone does a review on something and how it performs straight away. So at this moment, I'm very happy with it. I mean, it is actually something I would take to a tournament. I'd go sit down and I would be able to go play competitively on. Maybe the fact that, because it's a notebook, a lot of people just say, no, it's not going to perform so well. You're going to have maybe a little bit of frame drops and stuff. I don't know. I mean, at this moment, I'm not seeing anything on it. So, back now to the mouse. What I'm going to be doing here, whilst these guys are playing on the server, I'm going to be plugging in now the battery. And I'm going to just... Oh, there's a clip in actual fact. Don't clip this mouse from the top before. So there's a nice clip to actually pull it out. You pull it out and... you automatically, without even touching a button, you are automatically in wireless mode. So the wireless functionality in right now, a little bit heavier, however, the response of the mouse is the exact same as the cable. It runs 1000 Hertz polling ratio, so that's pretty much spot on. For a laser guided mouse, it's very accurate. You can set it right down to about 200 dpi if needed. And as you can see, it's really responsive. It's really good to actually see how the wireless mouse actually performs in a game. So if you're having troubles to connect, etc., you can just click the connect button. It should connect you in. And you've got the connect button on the side as well, which you can connect in. Pretty simple. So as any standard mouse, you would get that connect functionality between the two. So I'm very impressed with regards to the wireless functionality, because it doesn't have that lag as you might have experienced. It's very good for MOBA games, of course, like your Dota, and even your strategy games like StarCraft. You've got a lot of macro keys that you are able to kind of like use and assign to games. It's got about 5 or 6 different profiles on the software that you can load in. So really at this moment the mouse is impressing me, and so the laptop is impressing me as well. So I'm very keen to obviously play a couple of really competitive matches a little bit late on with this setup, to try and see if it actually does its work. And looking at it right now, things are pretty smooth, and I will be quitting the game shortly, so just to have a little final chat as to what I think. I'm going to spam someone here at the moment. Oh, getting taken out. But anyway, so a quick look at the game here. From a notebook's perspective, I'm seeing the frames per second staying at about 100 constantly, and this is on full graphics. Obviously, if you lower it, change your resolutions, etc., the FPS does go up. But regardless of the fact, if I look at it compared to a desktop machine, it really actually has got what it takes. Well, it's got everything that it needs, or that a gamer needs in specifics, to actually produce some really great gaming experiences. I mean, I'm not going to be testing StarCraft 2. I'm not going to be testing Dota 2, unfortunately, but I'm just giving you just an overview as to how well this notebook actually performs. So anyway, back to the mouse again. If I had to give the mouse a score out of 10, I would give the mouse easily a 9.5, because both functionalities to me is very great. The wireless or the wired functionality, the actual versatility of the Gigabyte mouse is actually very cool as well. You can lighten the mouse quite quickly. You can have a heavy mouse. It really depends on how you play, and also just the way that you hold the mouse. It's suitable for both types of gamers. You've got the palmer, the guy that really puts his palm onto the mouse and kind of moves it around, and then you've got some of the gamers that like to play with the claw type of like hold, and it suits both. And that's what I've picked up in the last couple of minutes, just using this mouse. And then obviously the protective case, which is great. The extra goodies that you get with it. It comes with an extra set of foot pads. So if your foot pads get old, you can just replace them. So the overall score I would give the Aivia M8600 version 2 from Gigabyte, I would give it a 9.5, because of the functionality of the mouse and how well it actually performs in any sort of field. Now quickly just talking about the Gigabyte P35 gaming notebook. This is the 15.6 inch notebook, doing a lot of things like recording right now, which I have been doing all along, playing a game, playing some music in the background, having other applications open. The overall speed and performance of this notebook, I would give this notebook easily a 9.5 as well, because it can handle pretty much anything and everything. To cast from it, I've done it before in the past, and it does a phenomenal job. The Gigabyte notebook range, in actual fact, I've tested the P27 as well, gaming notebook, also a fantastic notebook, really good to cast from, really good to play from as well. It's got a slightly bigger screen though, which is the 17 inch, but on the end of the day, the Gigabyte range, specifically to this notebook, I think this notebook is a really good buy with regards to if you're a client that works in the corporate environment, you like to have a fast notebook to kind of do your things, etc. But you also have the social side where you love to play games on it. This is the notebook to go for, because of its look, its feel, and the performance that it provides to you. Anyway, guys, I would like to thank you all just to, for viewing this this review. I generally don't do many reviews, but overall I've actually enjoyed covering this Gigabyte mouse and notebook. There will be more to come, so for you guys, I will see you guys soon in the cast. Have a fantastic day.